Welcome to Rick's Corner. I have a really good guest today. I have Erin Tillman, the dating advice girl. She gives you advice on your dating, and maybe I can get some helpful hints because I haven't dated in a year.
Yes.
Because I haven't found anybody worthy enough.
Yes. You have to choose wisely.
You have to choose wisely.
Absolutely.
I'm sitting here looking at you. You asked me about your hair. And I'm trying to see who's better looking, you or me.
I don't know. It's close.
It's pretty damn close, isn't it? All right. How did you become the dating advice girl?
Well,
you had that many dates?
Well, funny enough, I was just on another show yesterday, and they asked me how many dates I'd been on roughly, and they wanted me to embellish, so I said 1,000. But that's not accurate. It hasn't been that many.
Well, I've had way more than that.
Well, yeah, but age differences and whatever.
I've had that too.
So I basically, in 2009, the economy tanked.
Yeah.
And basically, I work in TV and film, and all of the work I was doing all stopped. And so I had been blogging and journaling and keeping in touch with all these guys I'd gone out with and stuff. And a friend of mine's like, you know what, you give really good advice, and you keep track of everything. Why don't you make a blog or something about it?
Yeah.
And I'm like, a blog? I don't know what that is. And so I finally did a blog, and it just started. People told people about it. Mm-hmm. I got contacted by this radio station, and the dating advice girl was born. And luckily, the domain was not taken on GoDaddy.com.
Yeah.
The dating advice girl. It's so basic, but I was so fortunate that it was available.
Well, who else would take that with all the experience of 1,000 guys?
Very true, but you'd be surprised, my friend.
1,000 guys?
No, it's not that many. That's just for whatever. I mean, honestly, I do have a list. I have a record. I do keep a record of the guys I go out with.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I did the same thing.
Did you?
My son, who you just met, asked me, because when I was married, my wife only knew about 2 of my past relationships, and that's all she would refer to is these 2 girls.
Yeah.
I said, there's much more than that. And I said, I'm not going to get into it. So he asked me one day, and I actually counted what I could remember. I came out with 148 girlfriends.
Okay.
But I was in a rock band in high school.
Right.
So I had a group.
Yes.
And I toured with a rock band, and then I went into bodybuilding.
Right.
There's a group. And then I went into wrestling, and there's a big group worldwide. So wherever you go, you meet somebody, and you have
some ladies.
Yeah, and that happens.
Relations. What do you mean by girlfriends, though?
Girlfriend.
Smile.
I told them they were my girlfriend. Whether it was a day or a week or a year.
Okay, well, see, but girlfriends are different from, like, hookups or casual encounters.
Yeah.
So.
Well, if we go to casual encounters, we're going to go way over 148.
I figure you're a man, right?
I hope so.
Yeah. You're a good-looking, in-shape guy, so I assume that,
And I still have the mind of a 16-year-old, which is a good thing.
A little more mature than that.
No, I don't mean it that way. I mean, I hang out with him.
Yeah.
He's 29. We go out together. My other son, my daughter, who's 19, we all hang out together, and I'm friends with their friends.
Yeah.
Which probably keeps me younger.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I get around guys my age, and I call them, and one of them tells me he's reading the obituaries every day. Why?
What? Oh, that's awful. Oh, God.
So I'm going to see how many friends I have left. I said, I know how many friends I have left, but I mean, I don't want to dwell on the negative. Let's think on the positive, because there's, every day is a new adventure, and every day in this city is an adventure in paradise.
Absolutely.
And every day is something new that comes your way that you can grab and go with it.
But see, unfortunately, a lot of people see LA that way, specifically LA.
Right.
Because it's going back to even dating. Like, I know so many people who hate here and like, dating's impossible here, and it's like this sucks and this. I'm like, like you said, we're in paradise. It's like 80 degrees all the time here. You go to the beach, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, but people, it's all on how you look at things, So I feel the same way. I think we're in paradise. I think there's tons of people that are available. Good people in the city, but you need to be open to it.
But I got to pick and choose. I mean,
yes,
I have to pick and choose.
Yes.
First of all, because of my age, I'm not going to pick somebody 20 years old. Not for anything steady, for sure.
Right.
Or even to hang out with, for that matter, because they don't have the intelligence or the life experience that I have, and they'll wonder what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
So I got to be selective, but yet I don't want anybody my age who's got one foot in the grave.
Right.
So I got to go somewhere in the middle that have had experience, that are old enough to understand me and okay with my age.
Absolutely.
And not be immature about it, and be able to connect, have the same sort of interests, the same sort of desires, and be able to communicate, because communication is the #1 key to a relationship.
And it's the #1 aphrodisiac.
Yes, it is.
In my mind. I mean, absolutely. Like, same thing you said. Like, I've dated guys all different ages, okay? And the thing that turns me off, I dated guys who are models or actors or whatever, but that usually isn't what I like, because a lot of times, I don't want to pigeonhole everybody, but a lot of times, but I'm going to do it for the sake of the show. But I mean, honestly, like, for me, a lot of times communication's lacking or intelligence is lacking, and that's a total turnoff. They can be the most beautiful man ever, but it's like, if I can't have a conversation, or if like they don't know what's going on in the world or something, it's like no.
Well, I always relate that to a custom car with a bad engine.
Absolutely.
It's the same deal.
Totally.
I mean, I've known beautiful girls. I've gone out with playmates, and some are nice, and some are smart, and some aren't. Yeah. And when you say hello and they're stuck for an answer, what are you going to do all night? You know, you got to have a conversation. There's so much that goes on in the world, and like you and I, we're creative, and we have so much that we like to do with creativity and editing and shooting and video and all. It's endless conversation. Right. And it's inspiring.
I agree.
And if you talk to somebody who doesn't get that, and they just have an 8-to-5 job and say, well, I got to go to work 8 to 5. Lucky you, you don't have to. It's not lucky me or lucky you. We made our lives.
And it's not easy all the time.
It's 24/7.
Right.
And you have to turn it into dollars.
Right.
And sometimes you do and sometimes you don't. But even if you don't, you do it because you have the passion.
Right.
And down the road, that passion leads to dollars.
Absolutely. I mean, with what I'm doing, you asked me how I started and everything. With what I'm doing with the Dating Advice Girl, I didn't start making any income or anything for a good year and a half. Right. I mean, it was just a passion project. I just enjoyed it. Yeah. I live it because I am single, you know, and it's something that it's actually kind of cathartic. It's just a way for me to like express things, or something crazy happens, I'll be like, listen everybody on my radio show, like, listen to what happened at, you know, whatever. So it's great, you know, but eventually I will make money from it, but there's been a lot of time and energy and money I put into it, you know.
Well, that's with anything. I have wrestling students that come out here, and I get paid for it, and I don't charge them very much. And sometimes I have a guy now that can't pay. He's out of work. Yeah. I let him come for a month free, and he says to me, I'm feeling really guilty. I said, don't feel guilty. It's not about the money.
Right.
It's about,
that's fantastic.
It's about giving to you, because this is your love and your passion. I'm not going to pull it away from you. I don't need your $50.
But see, that shows what big a heart Rick has. You know?
I do. And sometimes it's too big, because I let people walk on me. Sometimes I give them too much. For example, the Gold's, we talked about the Gold's Gym logo, which I did in 1993. And I did it on a napkin for free.
Wow.
I was with Arnold and another guy, Ken Waller, and they needed a logo, and they knew I drew. And that became the largest selling logo in the world, next to Mickey Mouse.
That's amazing.
However, I never made a dime.
Wow.
And I never signed a release. So I went back in 2005, and they said, look, let's bring this vintage shirt back, and we're going to pay you a royalty on it. And I said, fine, it's about time.
That's great.
And so now I own it. And now, well, you know what? Now in my life now, I can use the money. It's better.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So it wasn't about the money then. It's about the fact that I did it.
Absolutely.
And then World Gym came along, and Joe Gold had sold his name, and he says, I need a World Gym logo. How about a gorilla? I said, fine. So I charged him $10, and I made $10.
Yeah.
No, I got paid well for that. But even with this Rick's Corner, which I started, and you know how it is, you go through a couple of months, and 6 months, you don't make any money with it.
Right.
But you use it as a platform to advertise what you have, and according with the shirts, for example.
Right.
I might come out with my own supplements. I got my own personal training now, which I do on here. And it turns into money. Yeah. It's not direct.
Absolutely.
But maybe it will, because we're trying to pitch a reality show now with this, and that means dollars. And
I mean, the world's your oyster, honestly. I mean, with what a little shout out to Rick here. I mean, again, like you said, it's very inspiring to see somebody take their brand or take what they do and turn it into a whole empire, which is essentially what you can do. I mean, the possibilities are endless with what both of us are doing, which is great. It's inspiring. So.
All right.
So thanks, Rick.
Oh, I want to hear more about the dating. So are there do's and don'ts? You said something about the first 6 months of dating. First of all,
yes, that's what I focus on.
Let me say something here.
Yes, please.
Because where do you meet people? Number one, you either go to bars, you go to restaurants, or you go to gyms, because I said I was going to talk about gyms.
Yes.
And gyms are like the dating bars of, they used to say dating bars of the 80s, but now it's 2011, and it's still a place to meet people.
Yes, it's true. I personally, can I just give my personal opinion about
No,
that?
absolutely not.
Okay, I'm going to do it anyway.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so in general, like I like to work out. I do a lot of hiking and outdoors exercise usually. Yeah. And the thing with gyms for me is that I usually go to the gym to work out. I'm not trying to socialize. It's not a social place for me. I get that it is for other people. Yeah. But for me, it's like when I go there, I'm not looking good. Like I don't look like this when I'm at the gym. Okay, surprise everybody.
I don't either.
Like I'm sweating. You don't look like me. I know you probably don't. But I'm sweating, and I'm there to focus. And so if someone's trying to hit on me or like trying to ask me out, I'm really not interested in that moment, because I'm really there for that. So, but some people, it might work for them.
I guess so. I'm the same way. I go and I train, I leave. But I do meet people, and people know me from doing this and from being part of the 70s golden era, and they talk to me, and the women have come up from out of town and say, oh, I've seen your show. It's so nice to meet somebody in person, you know. And you strike up a conversation, you still train. But after this said and done, if you begin to leave and they're walking out the door, you can sit and talk. But it is a meeting place.
It's very true.
It doesn't mean you have to date there, but you can actually say hello and get to know somebody.
I agree.
And back to my sets now, of course.
Yes.
But it's just how a lot of people do make it social, and it is very frustrating for me because they try to suck you into their conversation and their drama, which can take you away from what you're doing.
Oh, absolutely.
And I don't do that.
Well, so this is the thing. I feel like you can meet people at a gym, but yeah, you do need to be careful because that's another thing too. I have a few male friends who are either trainers or that
1,000
that kind of thing. Maybe half, 500 maybe, I don't know. And but a lot of times people approach them because they want workout tips from them.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's the other thing too. I would suggest is that if you are meeting someone in terms of dating at a gym, make sure that it's like, I don't know, sometimes people are more fans than your equal.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, I'm sure you've experienced that. It's like people are like, oh, and it's like, but in terms of dating and relationships, it might be cool in the beginning.
Yeah.
But it's really not going to go anywhere if someone's like worshiping you.
Oh, no.
Even though that might sound good.
Oh, no. You're absolutely right. I had an experience like that, and it went on and on for a long time and several years.
Yeah.
And I finally had to say, look, this isn't working because your feelings towards me, and we'd never even been on a date, are not my feelings towards you, and it really hurt the person.
And you hadn't been out yet?
No, we're just friends, but I didn't know this was all bottled up.
Yeah.
And this has come to me several times in the past 6 months since I've been single again, from sevel different angles of women, and it's like, whoa, hold on a minute, you know, I'm not.
He's a hot item, ladies. He is. Look at him.
But I just, you know, it's got to be the right person.
Right. That's
smart. It just can't be dating. I just don't want to go out and date just to date and say, hey, I'm going to go out and date and get laid in that time. That's not my idea of a night.
Yeah. Absolutely.
There's got to be a connection.
Well, and it can be very empty to do that too.
It is empty. You go home empty, and you know the dog's here and the cat's here, and I got them to talk to, which is almost more fun sometimes.
I totally agree. I'd much rather be either by myself or with friends than on a bad date. Like I'll tell a quick story. I went on a date with somebody several months ago, and the conversation was so bad, and he was like, he cooked me dinner, and it was a whole thing.
Yeah.
And I felt kind of obligated to be there for a while and hang out and watch a movie with him and stuff, but I was like, gosh, you know what would be even better than this? It's just like being and like doing anything but being at home, reading a book, anything. When you're on a date with somebody and you're thinking reading a book or something by yourself in your apartment is better, you know, you're not going
Or I want to go home and edit a Rick's Corner.
Yeah, exactly. I'd rather be working. That's not going to work. You know?
but work is fun and work is pleasure.
Absolutely.
And to us anyway.
Right.
So what are the
Oh yeah, I didn't answer your question. So okay, where do you meet people?
What was my question?
It was I know. We're just talking here, you guys.
Easily I forget at my age what my question was.
I forget too, and I'm a different age.
So where do you meet people?
So where do you meet
I'm
people?
36.
Only 5 years different.
Okay, good.
I just told my age.
We just established that.
Okay, anyway, so where do you meet people? A lot of people do meet people at bars.
Yeah.
I personally wouldn't encourage that unless it's some sort of work-related thing at a bar. So say like a networking event.
Yeah.
At a bar, because then it's professional people at a bar. It's not just anybody at this bar.
Yeah.
So I don't say, hey, go to a bar and meet people, but if it's in a working context, then that could work. Okay. I meet a lot of people at work. And like I work in TV. I always am meeting people through that. So sometimes that can work, but you don't want to, I mean, it gets kind of hairy if you're like dating your boss or like dating someone, you know, something like that. I've never worked in an office, but I imagine something like that would be really bad.
Because it goes stale and then you're still there.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It can go horribly wrong.
Oh boy.
But also, I mean, I think they're friends, you know, if you have friends, but again, I mean.
I don't have any friends.
Oh, I don't believe that.
I have no friends.
I don't believe it. Too charismatic for that. But I mean, honestly, it's one of those things where as long as your friends know you and know what you're interested in, because I've had some friends set me up with people. I'm like, do you know me at all? Like, you obviously don't know anything about me to set me up with somebody that I'm totally not interested in. But when someone sets you up, hopefully they know your likes and dislikes, and so that can work. And if they're friends with that person, you know that they're not like probably not.